Whew. Okay, now that I got that Tebow nonsense out of the way, I can make these picks. Give you my division winners, and who I think will make the wild card rounds. Get those spots. Now, the thing about the NFL, well, I guess the NBA too, is that when you're good, you're good. When you have a good organization and good leadership, it tends to just keep rolling on through. So there's going to be teams, it seems like every year, that as long as they have the same continuity from the top down, and as long as some certain teams have their quarterback, a la Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, they're going to be in the playoffs. What are you going to do? How are you going to stop it? You're not. So let's do the AFC first. Let's just get this first one out of the way. The Patriots. I don't care if Tom Brady misses 4 games. Now I know that they're still going through the process, and he may get it cut down. Well, either way, it doesn't change anything for this pick because the other organizations in that division, the Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins, I'm not believers in them, and none of them have quarterbacks. And the closest that you have to another quarterback in that division that's worth any kind of respect is Ryan Tannehill. So Tannehill's he's not quite there yet, but he's still young. He's still young. They're still, building around him, giving him weapons here. I really like Lamar Miller. I think he's gonna have a big year this year. But the Patriots will be first. Then I will roll with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is gonna put up probably about 30 points a game. Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell with Ben Roethlisberger in that offensive line. And what's funny is about like 3 years ago, the offensive line was trash. Now it's phenomenal. Great building, organizational work from the top down to get what you need to be a threat. Because they were struggling for some years there, but I think Pittsburgh will be right back in the fold. Then I have to roll with Indy, the Indianapolis Colts. Andrew Luck. Can't say enough about the man. Now you add a veteran in Frank Gore because Trent Richardson last year was a disaster. Now you add Frank Gore, Andre Johnson on the outside there with Dwayne Allen, your tight end. You got Moncrief, T.Y. Hilton, of course, who just got broke off something proper. Man, these NFL players, boy, that money. That guap. I played football too when I was little. I wish I was a lot better than I was, and I wish I stuck with it. Golf, I don't care. I should have done some sport and stuck with it the whole time. The paychecks that they get are astronomical. So we'll roll with Indy at that second spot. Now their defense still isn't all that, but when you have that quarterback, and you're in that division with the Jaguars, the Texans who don't have quarterbacks, and who was the last one in their division? Let's see. Indy, Jags, Houston. See, this is part of the uncut nature of this program. Ooh, let me close these windows. I had a couple of extra windows open, and that's another thing with this Chromebook. When you're recording video through this YouTube app, you need to make sure that everything else is closed. Otherwise, it will cut you off mid video and it will crash the video. It's quite unfortunate. It's a pain in the ass. And I can't think of the fourth team that's in that division right now. Sometimes I have brain farts like that, and it escapes me, but it will come back eventually, one day. But that's irrelevant because they're not making the playoffs either. So we're going with the Chiefs to make the playoffs over the Broncos. Yeah, yeah. But the Broncos will make the wild card. I don't like Gary Kubiak like that. And I have a brother who's also huge into sports like I am, and he thinks that I should cut Gary a little slack, and that he hasn't been as bad as as I make it seem sometimes. But his run with the Texans was, man, I don't know. I'm not a believer in Gary Kubiak. So we'll see. I know Peyton Manning is Peyton Manning, but I really like the Chiefs. I really like their defense. I really like their offense now because they don't really turn over their ball. They still have Jamal Charles and they added Jeremy Maclin. So I think the Chiefs are going to have a really big year. It's not going to be like they probably won't start off like 8-0 like they did 2 years ago when Andy first got there. That was kind of ridiculous. But I have them edging out the division this year over the Broncos. Broncos will make a wild card. The Dolphins will make the wild card. Those are my two wild card teams, Broncos and the Dolphins, because I mean Peyton's going to be in there regardless. And I know I'm stepping out on this shaky limb here, picking the Chiefs over a Peyton Manning led team, but sometimes you just got to take a chance. I know some of you'll see this and you'll probably mock me later if I'm wrong, but I don't care. Because sometimes you have to stand out on that shaky limb. That's who I'm going with. There will be no Ravens and no Bengals in the playoffs this year. Hopefully, this is finally the year that they fire Marvin Lewis from Cincinnati. I don't know why. This dude has been around since like the year 2000 with the Cincinnati Bengals and can't win a playoff game. Can't win one. I don't know how he's kept his job so long. It's time to get him out of here. Get him up out. Seems like a nice guy, but that's irrelevant to me. Win some games in the playoffs and the postseason. That's what you're here for. NFC. On to the NFC. Let's get the Eagles out of the way, okay? And I know this is the tough part because me being an Eagles fan, you're going to think, oh, he's just biased. And there is some bias there. I'm not going to lie to you. And that is another thing that you will see as we continue our journey. I'm not going to lie to you. There is bias there. But I like the addition of Sam Bradford. I like the addition of DeMarco Murray. I was like, what happened? What's up with that? When at first, when LaShawn got traded, but bringing in DeMarco Murray and Ryan Matthews, I don't care about that. I don't care about Shady being gone anymore. As much as I love him, still got his jersey. You know what I'm saying? It's a nice jersey too. So fly. Not like a regular one, but that's not important right now. The Eagles will win their division. They'll have a great year. Kiko Alonso being on the team now too. The defensive front is stout. You'll see. Just watch. I don't want to spend much time on the Eagles like ever because everybody's just going to say I want to talk about my favorite team all the time. But Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers. Do we really need to say much more? Because as much as I like Detroit, and I do really like Detroit's teams, I don't think that it's going to be good enough to supplant Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. So that's that. I got Carolina again. This time they'll win more than 6 games. Okay. I like Devin Funches that pickup, that receiver pickup. Now he has somebody else. Cam Newton has somebody else to throw the ball to besides Greg Olsen and Kelvin Benjamin. Yeah, I mean, this two guys is still not enough in the passing league. Then, especially when your running backs are always hurt. D'Angelo Williams is gone now. Jonathan Stewart's still there. He tends to get kind of nicked up. We'll see what happens there with the running back situation. But I still like the defense and the addition of the added weapon. Yes, and the division isn't that strong. We'll see if the Atlanta Falcons can come back and get back some respect because I don't know how you go to the NFC title game and then the next year you fall completely off and win less than 5 games. That was horrible. That was horrible. So now they have a new coach. Supposed to be better on defense because defense was always slacking. You know what they can do on offense with Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and them boys. Julio Jones got him on one of my fantasy teams, by the way. Better have a big year, boy. So, We're rolling with Carolina out of that division. I expect the Saints to be a lot better, a lot better. But we'll see how that goes. Seahawks. How can you knock off the Seahawks after bringing in Jimmy Graham? Now, watching that first preseason game, that offensive line looked mighty shoddy. Mighty shoddy. A lot of holes. But Russell Wilson, I'm not counting that man out. I don't want to say it just yet, but I'm about ready to put him in that class where I'm like, he's gonna be in the playoffs because he's just one of those quarterbacks that makes winning plays. He doesn't dazzle you game in and game out with his accuracy from the pocket, but his decision making is so great, so great. He just always finds a way to make it happen when it needs to happen, and he's like never negative. Seeing some of the clips that they show of him over there on the sideline leading his team when they're down or something like that, like great leader, great leader. Really love Russell Wilson. Wild card change. I'm going with I'm going with Detroit, and I'm going with the Saints. I think the Saints will bounce back. I know last year their defense 31st in the league. Horrible, horrible. But I have a lot more faith in Rob Ryan than that. And I think that they'll bounce back nicely enough to steal that wild card spot. I already told you I love Detroit. You know, we already know what they have on offense. The defense needs a little work on the front end after losing Sue and Fairley, but they picked up Haloti. So, or did they pick up Haloti? I think I'm tripping now. Now I'm just talking. Haloti Nata. Yeah, yeah, I'm not tripping. Trust your instincts. He's on the lines now. So anyway, there would be no Cowboys. There would be no Cardinals in these playoffs. I love the Cardinals. I love Bruce Arians. But something's got to give. Not everybody can make the playoffs, and that's why some of these owners are trying to get them to expand the playoffs and add a couple more teams in there. I'm not with that. I like it how it is. Don't change anything. Those are my picks for who's going to win their divisions and who is going to get the wild card spots. I reserve the right to change my mind in the weeks leading up to the regular season, but once the regular season starts, I will not change my picks. I will not change my picks unless look, if a quarterback gets hurt and goes down, then that's just stuff. I just gotta live with it. But I'm not gonna change any picks. But once the postseason does roll around, before the first game, I will see who is in the playoffs. We'll make picks for the playoffs going forward from there, and we'll just see how it all shakes out, baby.